In the house with us talking golf, and of course it is probably our favorite Thursday, not necessarily talking about guests, but because of the Masters ushers so many things in, including spring, including the golf season itself, and it's just the most beautiful hallowed ground you'll ever find. So what have coverage on the leaderboard as most of the players are in the clubhouse now, but looks like Fred Couple's still doing some things, and Dustin Johnson is bogeyed, so he is now off the lead. It is Leishman and Garcia at 6 under par who lead round one of the Masters.
There's so many good stories setting up. I mean, Tiger's in the right position for Tiger. I before the tournament started, you know, I like to think about who I'd like to win as opposed to who I'm thinking I'm going to win.
Right.
I think Ricky Fowler would be a great win.
Yeah.
With all the kids that follow him and so forth, for him to put himself in position.
It's a win for the flat brim folk out there.
Yeah,
flat brims.
Yeah,
and then Dustin Johnson. You know, when a long hitter
forecasted,
when a long hitter gets to the top, you got to worry because I mean that's a long hitter's golf course now. So
and what about Rory? Can he finally get one, a major that is?
Well, you know the thing about Rory, he's sort of like the stock market. He's either all or nothing. When he gets hot, he just takes off. And you know, look at the two he's won. He's won by like 1,000 shots.
And he looked like he was going to win the Masters by that many.
Right.
Till he had that hiccup. And
what's he got? Refresh my memory. British and U.S. Open.
PGA.
Yeah.
PGA and British
and the U.S. Open.
Okay. PGA
and both of them he won big. And I don't think his game's there yet. I don't think he's made the adjustment. So I don't expect it this weekend.
I think he can get up there and be on that leaderboard, but I don't think he can win it.
And I think this eighth grader is just one of the most incredible stories. You
Guan.
know what's incredible to me? Well, shooting one over par's, I don't know how it can be more incredible, but the fact that he shot 71 the last round of the tournament that he had to win in order. He teed off that day. He was just a rising eighth grader at that point.
Right.
Knowing that if he
Asian
won the
Open.
golf tournament, he got to play in the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And he shot 71. Now, how does a kid that age have the internal composure to pull that off?
Maybe
I don't get it.
Maybe he's never heard of the Masters before. I don't know. That's the only way I could understand it, man. Just incredible stuff. And like Mike said, there's 1,000 storylines going into the weekend, going into tomorrow's round for sure. Mike, we're coming right to you. But first, we got to do our 3 and Out. It's brought to you by GNS Collision Center, your quality solution. If you've got a scratch, dent, or major collision that needs repaired on your vehicle, they can do it for you. They work with all insurance companies, and walk-ins are welcome. It's GNS Collision Center, 6041 International Drive, 490-4351, 490-4351. Now, these clips are all from prior to the round, I believe, today. So here's Bubba Watson talking about getting the green jacket for his son.
Out of respect and honor for Augusta National and one of the greatest clubs we have, one of the greatest tournaments. Out of respect for them, I didn't do any of my funny antics that I normally would do. And so the only thing I did is wrap Caleb up in it.
Now, what's the crying about? I understand he's emotional, but
I don't know.
Of course, he's talking about Caleb, his adopted son.
Right.
I hark back to what Brent Henley told us, that he was not well liked on the tour.
So a lot of people feel like that's fake.
A lot of that stuff. I don't think it is. I just...
That's just the way.
Much.
And that, again, those guys are with him each week.
And those guys are jealous that they're not with the golf boys.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
They really want to make those awesome videos.
They do.
Phil Mickelson, here he talks about Eldrick, Tiger Woods.
Even at times where he hasn't played his best, you know what he's capable of, and so you're always looking at his score. You're always worried about him making that big run the way he's always done throughout his career. And now that he's doing it and winning tournaments in such a dominating fashion, it does have the feel of what we expect to see from Tiger.
And thirdly, Arnold Palmer talks about the 14-year-old sensation Guan. It says, and I'm not sure which name's first. I know in different cultures there's different ways for that, but Tingling Guan playing in the Masters at being 14 years old.
I think it's wonderful that a young person can do that, and the First Tee program is going to help that happen in America too. But this young man is certainly an outstanding young player.
You're welcome.
Wow. Thank you there, Joe.
And you get the First Tee reference right out of the gate. How about that? Thank you, Arnie.
But think about this. When Tiger was 14, he was an accomplished player. He could not walk out there and shoot 71.
No. And
Couldn't have done it.
That's scary. when you
He
put
also
it that way.
couldn't have done anything that would have given him the right to play there either.
That's exactly right.
So it's amazing.
Let's get Mike on before we take a break and get our special guest. Mike, welcome to Sport Talk and Talk Radio. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Hey, guys. We're going to put it out there. We are actually, I know it's Masters weekend, but we are doing a golf tournament in Creeks Bend this weekend for my daughter's fast pitch softball team.
All right. Tell us the
Yes,
details.
sir. Well, we're going to do a 4-man select shot. We're going to have a $10,000 hole-in-one. Longest drive contest, closest to the pin. Going to be giving away Nike golf shirts to the winning team. Just doing it, trying to raise money for these girls to play ball all summer long.
When are the times? What's the deal?
We're gonna meet there at 12 for registration. Tee time is going to start at 12:30.
Is this on a Saturday?
Yes, Saturday over at Creeks Bend.
Mm-hmm.
What's the phone number in case people want to ask you a question or get more details?
It's 423-779-7933. And we'll be guys. Drinks will be available as well on the course. Just going to have a good time. Going to have the girls have got some games they want the guys to play as they go. One hole, you can, if you've got 4 guys with you, the other 3 guys can pick $1 apiece, and you have to put the whole hole. So we wanted to still be competitive, but at the same time, everybody have a good time with it.
Yeah, just have
Thank
fun
you, Mike.
All right,
Thank you,
Mike. Thank you, and good luck with that. We
Real-
appreciate it.
Real quick before we hit the break, how is Fuzzy Zeller? How is he viewed now? I know when the whole Tiger Woods thing happened, it was boo Fuzzy, but how has his image changed any since then?
I think he's sort of not viewed, would be my answer.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
people
think he's
are pro
under
or
the
con.
radar,
I think he's just under the
He
radar.
does a lot of corporate stuff and makes his money that way, but I think that's just gone.
You don't see him interviewed
No.
a whole lot.
No,
though.
he
He did
don't
one of
remember
the
last
Faraday interviews,
Yeah,
and it was actually pretty good.
That was good.
It was pretty good.
It was good.
Okay, I just asked because for that reason I haven't seen him probably since then.
He's kind of disappeared, yeah.
Yeah.
Sport Talk returns, and we'll have our special guest scheduled to appear. Gary Player, 3-time Masters champion, 9-time major champion. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Coming right back at Sport Talk in our first tee golf hour presented by Summit Physical Therapy on WGOW. .618, it is our first tee golf hour presented by Summit Physical Therapy, and a look at your National Weather Service forecast, and we'll get our special guest on the line. Tornado watch is in effect for the North Georgia counties in our listening area, so folks be advised there. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms. Storms could be severe with large hail, damaging winds, and heavy rain. Low around 52. Friday becoming mostly sunny, high near 67. And Saturday and Sunday sunny with highs in the low to mid 70s. And it's all brought to you by Summit Physical Therapy. Thanks to the great sponsor of our golf hour, Summit Physical Therapy. Injury prevention programs, sport-specific rehabilitation, and all your physical therapy needs. Summit Physical Therapy, 423-842-9322.
And I guarantee you, when you have someone like Gary Player on, they're getting their money's worth.
That's right.
I guarantee you
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
So, Mike Jenkins, our host here, why don't you do the honors in introducing our special guest?
158 wins worldwide, 9 major championships, including 3 green jackets, World Golf Hall of Fame member. Gary Player, welcome to the First Tee Golf Hour at Chattanooga, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mike. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. I saw a video.
Am I speaking to a man called Cowboy?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because, man, I'm a redneck cowboy from South Africa.
My boy.
You fit in perfect then.
I hope he's got a little red man there.
There's no doubt about
There's
that.
no question about that.
Gary Player, we got a bunch in this booth that you just don't want to come here and visit, I can tell you. I got to ask you this real quick.
Tell you, I have a piece of red man twice a week and grits every morning of my life.
How about that?
I
Gary-
love you already.
Gary, I got to ask you this, because if I don't, I'm going to forget it. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I hope I can get this from your memory bank, was your first equipment deal not First Flight out of Chattanooga, Tennessee?
Chattanooga, Tennessee, man alive. I tell you, there was a man called Jack Hawkins, and he was an Irish-American. And he loved me. I was winning the Masters using his equipment called First Flight.
Yeah.
And I loved him. He'd get on an airplane and he'd say to the hostess, "Do you have change? for $1,000 bills. And this hostess, I mean, she didn't know where to go. But he offered me, can you believe this, in 1961, he offered me $1 million, and he also offered to build me $1 million home in Chattanooga, Tennessee, if I'd lived there. But, you know, I had everything in South Africa, and my parents and whole family were there, so I didn't take it. But, I love Tennessee. I played well there, won the tournament there.
Memphis.
I think it was the old Colonial, you know.
Yep.
Did Jack Harkins offer Nicholas a deal one time too, Gary?
No, he didn't. He was an Irishman, and Jack Nicklaus was a German.
They didn't mesh too well, huh? Uh-huh.
The mixture wasn't good.
Great story.
Now listen, if I get 100 letters from these Germans, that's your fault.
Cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your day from Augusta to spend time with us. We watched you do the ceremonial tee off this morning, and pretty good shot right down the middle as always.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. It wasn't my best, but Arnold hit a nice one, but he's 83, getting a bit old. And then Jack said, mine went the longest. Well, we always give each other the needle. I said, listen, any long driving competition, you've got to hit the fairway, otherwise it's null and void. And I said, your ball hit on the edge of the rough and ran along those pine needles. And I said, that doesn't count a damn, man.
Well, did you you looked as good as ever. Did you have was there part of you that wanted to keep going?
Oh, yes, I'd love to have kept going, but those guys cannot walk up that hill.
I'm telling you.
I know you can. I got to ask you about a quote I saw today on I was watching some video of your 1978 final round, which I'm sure you remember some of. And Jimmy Roberts from NBC made the comment of all the great things that Gary Player did in his career, and there were a lot of them, the final round 64 in the 1978 Masters may have been his single greatest round. Would you agree with that?
I would probably have to say so, yeah, but to come back in 30 at the Masters to win, and I actually touched the hole, guys, 3 times. Can you imagine shooting 27? They'd either hang you or never let you back.
Oh, well, they changed the course again, wouldn't they, Gary? They do so. And you played with Seve that day, was that correct?
I did, and he was so great. And when we finished the round of 18, he came across the green and gave me a hug. And my caddy gave me a hug because when I arrived here, he says, Mr. Gary, he says, man, I want to tell you, I need a house. And I said, well, my friend Eddie, we're going to get you a house because I'm playing well. And Ballesteros said, Gary, you teach me to win Masters.
You must have.
You know, it's interesting you say that because when I was watching the video, that was one of the things that, and I showed it to my wife. I said, watch Seve's reaction when Mr. Player makes this putt at 18. I think he was more excited than you were. He came running across that green.
He was so excited, and he was an incredible human being. He was the bullfighter of golf. And when he left, the last time I saw him, he was driving out of Augusta, and he saw me, and he reversed back. And he says, Gary, you're always so happy. Why are you so happy? I said, well, I have a good faith. I have a good family. I'm winning the major championships of the world. God has loaned me a talent. And he said, me no happy. And a tear came down his eye. Obviously, he wasn't happy at home. And his father-in-law, he found a very difficult man, according to what he told me. And, you know, he must have known there was something wrong at that stage. It was quite sad. A charismatic guy like that, a tragedy.
Boy, golf has brought us some characters throughout all the history of the game. Gary, you certainly being one of them. And I know going to the Masters each year, you renew a lot of acquaintances. And I see you and Jack and Arnie tee that thing up, and tears comes to our fans' eyes. What does it do for you to stand there on that darn tee? Do you still get nervous?
Well, first of all, every year I arrive here, I go through the avenues, the beautiful trees, and I say to the guy, stop, let me out of the car. And I just walk along there for 10 minutes, and I say, thank you, Lord, for letting me win it 3 times, second 3 times, the most number of cuts in a row, the most number of times to ever play in the tournament, top 10, 15 times. My goodness me, thank you, sir. for letting me just have the opportunity of being here. And also to this great country of America, thank you for being the Samaritan of the world that you've been, how you've helped people. You've been a global society. Thank you so much.
One of 5 golfers to win the Grand Slam.
I just shed some tears right there, Mr. Player.
I know, man. This guy's
And by the way, when he said he's played the most, that's 52 times he played the Masters.
Yeah,
52.
That's a long time.
Man.
That's a long
I'll tell you
time.
what, the greatest thrill was not the Grand Slam on the regular tour, because I was the only man to ever win the Grand Slam on the senior tour. That was my greatest achievement ever, because you had to do it after the age of 50, remember?
Wow. That's awesome.
You've got to be in shape. You've got to be in shape. And I worked out like a Trojan, being small in stature. My brother, when he was 17 years of age, now listen to this, guys. He left South Africa at 17 to fight and join the American 5th Division. At 17. Can you believe that?
Wow.
He said to me, you're going to be a professional athlete one day. You're so damn small. He says, I was your size when I was 6. He said, you make sure you exercise for the rest of your life. And that's 63 years ago. And, man, I've adhered to it. So my brother gave me some great advice.
When did you start your adventure to be the professional golfer that you were, Gary?
I started to play when I was 14, and that comes to mind. The greatest round of golf today was shot by this young Chinese guy at 14 years of age. He shot 73. Now, I must say, that's the easiest I've ever seen the course play. No wind, greens holding, course a little bit soft. But at 14 to shoot 73 at Augusta off those back tees, I tell you, it's one of the best rounds ever played at Augusta. I only started to play golf when I was 14, and I turned pro at 17, much to my father's disgust. He said, man, you've got to complete your education. I said, Dad, I'm going to get a world degree. I'm going to be the best in the world. I'm going to get a world degree. Oh, and he said, God bless you, my boy. I hope you can do it. But he says, your mother will be turning in her grave.
How did you hook up with Jack Harkins at First Flight, Gary? How did that come about?
Well, first of all, I remember meeting him, and I had already, I'd really won the British Open. And I don't remember if I'd won the Masters or not. And I got to meet him, and his name was First Flight, and he had a ball, and he called it Old Steely.
That's correct.
Steel center. It had a steel center, and it was Old Steely. And, man, I just loved this guy. What a great character for golf. I mean, honest to goodness, I mean, he just loved golf. And, you know, this is the thing pros must never forget. If it wasn't for the public, if it wasn't for the media, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be playing for this kind of money. My goodness me. And I see the way some athletes treat people. It's an absolute disgrace. I mean, but the majority are good. But we must never forget, you know, to give a smile or a handshake or encourage somebody. But I must say golfers are fantastic at raising money for charity. Golf is a great catalyst at raising big money for underprivileged people.
And you may be the king of it all around the world, actually.
Knowing Harkins, you'll love this story. When I was a young kid, I got to see an exhibition at Chattanooga Golf and Country Club. Ben Hogan was there, and he was going to play against Harkins and Lou Emig, and Harkins tried to choke Hogan down with a big bet. It didn't. I can promise you it didn't. I think Hogan shot 63 that day.
Well, the best golfer I ever saw in my life was Ben Hogan. He never played on greens like this. He never had a ball that goes 50, 60 yards further. Wooden clubs, heavy shafts, taking a Greyhound bus to tournaments like I used to on many occasions. Now they all roll in G5s, and then the caddies come in the small planes later.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gary, I've probably read 100 different articles on why and how you got started dressing in black. So it just tickles me to death to have the opportunity to ask you that question so I can figure out which 99 to throw away. So tell us the story.
First of all, there used to be a movie called Have Gun Will Travel. And it was Jack Paladin was his name.
Yes.
Jack Paladin, he had the silver holsters.
Yo.
Anybody who was in trouble, he'd give them their card and say, if you've got any problem, call me, and I liked that. He was dressed in black, and I said, hell, I'm from Black Africa. I've got to wear black. And I started to wear black and became the Black Knight. And then my son had our logo done and our brand. And you must have a brand. Look at Tiger Woods with his Nike Slish. And then you look at Jack Nicklaus with a golden bear, Arnold Palmer with an umbrella, Mary Mex with his Mexican hat. You've got to have something to identify yourself with. And there's Chanel, he's dead long ago, but they're still making a lot of cash.
Where do you rank Trevino, Gary?
Trevino was one of the very best strikers of a ball that I'd ever seen in my life. I put him in the top 5 strikers of a ball that I've ever seen. He just let his Mexican temperament sometimes get the better of him. He'd get a little bit hot and a little bit upset. And if he could have putted as well as the rest of his game, my goodness me, there's no telling what he would have done. But you see, God never gives everybody everything. Even Tiger Woods doesn't drive the ball as straight as most of the superstars I ever saw in my life. But he's strong. He's focused. He's got so much talent. And, see, nobody has everything. I mean, Nicklaus, he used to be a very ordinary bunker player and a very ordinary wedge player. Arnold Palmer was a terrible bunker player and a terrible wedge player. And yet he could take a 1-iron and strike it in there 10 foot from the hole.
That's amazing.
But everybody has some weakness.
Gary, you alluded to this. I'm just curious. When you won the Masters in '78, the first place was $45,000. In today's money, that's like $500,000. But the purse is like $1.5 million. And you were talking about the Jets and so forth. Sometimes are you concerned that maybe the money's getting too much and that's going to end up affecting the game in a negative way at some point?
First of all, I don't have a jealous bone in my body as far as that's concerned, and I'm happy they're all playing for this kind of money. But it makes it very difficult for people like myself when you have foundations and you're trying to raise millions for underprivileged children and you want guys to come and play and you offer them a couple of $100,000 or $100,000 and they turn you down.
Ouch.
Oh, that's for me very, very difficult. And I'm all in favor of all this money, but we must never forget to lose the value of money. I saw a man win $1 million the other day in a tournament, and I didn't find him very excited. I would have been saying to the sponsor, thank you, sir. Only 3% in the richest country in the world, America, makes $300,000 or more a year. I made $30 a month for 3 years, so I understand what it is to be poor. And so you've got to realize the true value of money. And they offer me $200,000 to go to Australia or somewhere. I'll get in the damn rowing boat and row over.
Gary, you recognized as one of the great bunker players of all time, and I was fortunate enough to see a couple of your Golf Channel clips out of the bunkers, and you are the greatest instructor ever. I mean, you do it for the common man, and we can understand it. Not that I'm a better bunker player now, but I loved watching it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that because I'm just one of those old common men you're talking about, my buddy.
Gary, we were talking about this a little bit before you came on, but don't you think it's just a great thing about the game of golf that here it is 30 to 35 years after your career and you're still actively engaged, you're still very influential in the sport, you're still able to use this sport to raise money for underprivileged kids. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a real tribute to the game, and it's a tribute to you and Arnie and Jack that you all are still willing to do this.
Oh, this is something, and I think one of the, as I said, the essential ingredients in life. And thank goodness my mama and my papa, they taught me you got to say thank you, and you got to be grateful. And man alive, I'm so grateful for everything. I never go out of a hotel room without just saying a quick prayer of thanks. Thanks for that bed. Thanks for that bath. Because most people in the world don't have a bath. Most people in the world don't have a car. Most people don't have enough clothes. Most people have very little food. The majority of the world don't have these luxuries. And so gratitude is very, very important.
One question, because you mentioned that old Steely ball, and I hate to keep going back to this. Did you win the Masters with that darn ball?
I definitely remember winning the PGA with old Steely.
Was that at Shoal Creek?
And I think I did. I think I did win the Masters with old Steely, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yeah.
No idea.
What a character. Well, I often see there's a picture of me winning the PGA, and he's standing in the background, and he was as proud of me as he was as if it was my father standing there.
Well, our partner here is a great historian of Chattanooga Golf and Country Club, where Mr. Harkins was a member, and he's sitting here grinning and laughing at this stuff, I can tell you.
Well, he's got to give the members my love there. I really should send him, try and find a signed picture of the PGA with Jack Hawkins standing in the background and send it to the club.
Wow. That would be something.
That would be great.
What is the name of the club?
Chattanooga Golf and Country Club.
Chattanooga Golf and Country Club. I'm going to look for that. If I ever find it, I'm going to send it to the club.
Wow.
Well, that would be terrific.
Okay,
and I have to tell you, somebody that works with the First Tee here in Chattanooga, I just can't thank you enough for the work you do for the First Tee, junior golf development, and really youth development in general, all over the world.
Well, it's a pleasure, and my great dream, between 27 and 30% of the American youth are suffering from obesity. And we just got to do something about this, guys. And I preach it night and day, and I'm with the Humana company. What a wonderful company. My goodness me, who are working on better lifestyle and health and longevity. And I preach it all the time. And guys say sometimes, don't be a preacher, but I'm going to keep preaching to the youth of this country because it's such a great country. They've got to realize you've got to forget about this giveaway system. You've got to work hard. This is what made America great. They came here on boats and landed here with nothing and worked hard. No giveaway systems. Earn it the old-fashioned way. Keep your body in shape. Get a good education and do something for this great country because the country doesn't owe you anything. You owe it to them.
Well said.
Amen.
Well said.
And before we let you go, you got any prediction for this weekend?
Very tough to say. Very tough with all these guys. Remember, it's just 1 week in your life. You have a hot putter, and you take the cash.
There you go.
I agree. Listen, I know you've got other people that are wanting to talk to you. And we just can't thank you enough for taking the time to spend some time with us. And just thank you so much, and best of luck to you as you continue to do these great things for the game of golf.
All right, play a good Johnny Cash song for me on your radio.
Oh, we can handle that.
Yeah, we'll
we can
do
do
it.
that.
You got it.
Thank you, Gary.
Guys.
Hey, thank you.
All right, it doesn't get any better than that.
It can't.
You continually,
It can't get any better than that.
It cannot. The Doug Sanders, the Sorenstam's, Gary Player. What a personality, Joe.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. And we've had some good guests. You've had some good guests on here, Mike, and he's right up there. I mean, what a
Chattanooga
personality.
story, the Jack
I sort of
Harkins
wasn't
story.
expecting that. I mean, I had no reason to know what he would be like, but that.
Well, you
that
knew I was going to ask him that question, and I was telling Rita today when I left, I said, I wonder if he'll even remember it. Remember it? Hell,
Yeah.
He lived it with the Chattanooga connection. Wow.
I mean, that was. I've been looking forward to this for months because I've been working on it for months, but it was even better than I thought it was going to be.
Good going, Mike. We got to go to break. We'll be right back with the Golf Hour brought to you by who, Mike?
Summit Physical Therapy.
All right.
It's the most amazing 4 days of the year. Bonnaroo 2013. Win passes from the Talk Monster. Click the link on our homepage, WGOW.com/Roo.
Hi, Tom Bodett.
All right, 643. Welcome back to Mike Jenkins and his now famous Golf Hour brought to you by Summit Therapy and First Tee and Mike.
Well, let me say this seriously. The most common question I get today is, how do you get these guests? Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the truth is, it's the power of the First Tee.
Yes.
That's the hook I use when I get to them. And the whole conversation is not about the First Tee, but I just explain to them we're using the show for name recognition for the First Tee to kind of make people aware of it. And that is such a nationally known organization. It's such a powerful organization that all these people are willing. They want to be part of helping promote it. And that's really the hook that's working.
You're going to talk about Stephen Fox in a minute. First, we're going to go to the phone and talk to Steve Ray. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Gary, I just want to tell you guys, that was one of the best interviews I've ever heard on the radio.
Was he not awesome?
He was great. And Gary, bringing the Chattanooga angle in there, I had no idea.
A lot of people, well, you got to be my age to know it.
Which means very few people know.
I just, it's like I said, Mike, and I think he was on the air before we went to break. I was telling Rita when I left home, I said, he's not going to remember this. And I said, you know what, though? I bet he does, because I knew it was his first equipment deal. I knew that.
Well, you know, Chattanooga has had such a long historical place in golf, all the way up to your First Flight and Pro Group out there in Ottawa before it went under, and just connecting it to who I've always thought was the most underrated golfer ever in the history of golf and modern golf. I've always thought Gary Player never got his due.
Well, the reason was he was the third of the big three.
You know, he's got more majors than Palmer, and everybody thinks Palmer's got all these majors. And not taking anything away from Palmer, but Gary Player's got more.
But what Palmer doesn't have is the Grand Slam.
Exactly right. Never won the PGA, and to be one of the 5 people that have won the Grand Slam is just historically so monumental. And then the only person to have won the Senior Grand Slam.
Yeah,
I have to admit I had missed that. I didn't realize that.
I'm not much into senior golf, except when I play. But
that was a great interview, and Mike, keep them coming, man. It's always a fun time when
Steve,
you're on Thursdays, and we look forward to it.
You've always messaged me and Facebook me and says your favorite part of Sports Talk is the golf hour, and it kind of is mine too. I admit it.
Well, it was Wednesday till Meredith came along.
Well, I understand that.
You got to work with what brung you, right?
You do. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Midnight Oil, Steve Way. Stephen Fox.
Stephen Fox next Thursday is going to throw out the first pitch at the Lookouts game.
Awesome.
And then he won an award last year with the Tennessee.
When's he going to go back to school?
I don't know. But he won an award last year with the Tennessee Golf Foundation for like Amateur of the Year in Tennessee and so forth. And with that award, he got to name a charity to receive a $2,500 donation. So after he throws out the first pitch, he's going to present a big check to the First Tee of Chattanooga for $2,500. So we love Stephen Fox. We already loved him. Now we really love him.
Good deal.
Okay?
I love it.
So we're going to have some kids there. If there's any golfers listening, you ought to really go out to that Lookouts game, and it's going to be a fun night.
You know, all the private golf courses in our Chattanooga area and the public golf courses just now coming into, it's springtime. You can see the grass greening up a little bit. Golf's coming to the forefront. And I know, Mike, you've got big things planned for the local Chattanooga TPC. I know that. And they'll begin with the Signal Mountain.
Actually, Cleveland is first.
Cleveland
and Brainerd flip.
Okay,
because it benefits both sets of greens. With Brainerd being Bermuda now, August is better, and it makes Cleveland's greens better in its first weekend of May.
Let's go to the phones and talk to the original War Eagle. Hello, sir.
How you doing, Doc?
Good.
I hate I didn't get to call y'all Monday, but I've been listening to y'all when y'all was on the AM channel.
Oh, yeah, it goes back to the 23rd year.
It was a great celebration.
It was. We had fun.
What golf group was it down there under the bridge that made the golf clubs?
Well, it was originally the First Flight Golf Company that Gary Player, who signed with, that evolved into Pro Group and then the Arnold Palmer Golf Company.
Right.
It all evolved.
Because my uncle used to work down there.
What was your uncle's name?
His name was Bill Workman. He was
I know Bill. I've known Bill
down there at Mox and Bend.
Absolutely.
Yes, I know Bill.
Absolutely.
Him and Bob Workman.
Yeah.
They said that they wouldn't let them play together. I heard they wouldn't let them play together when there's a tournament going on account nobody would win.
They were good players, I can tell you that now.
Yeah, I knew it was one of them, but I couldn't remember which golf group it was.
Yeah, it was. It started at Tremont Street, and then obviously ended up in Ottawa as the Arnold Palmer Pro Group, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all I was needing to know, Doc.
All right,
thank
thanks.
you, sir. 267-1023. We got to go to a break.
Okay.
Sir. Mike Jenkins in the Summit Golf Hour. I got to get used to that.
It's the First Tee Golf Hour.
First Tee Golf
Presented
Hour.
by Summit Physical Therapy.
He's a rookie, Mike. Just work with him.
Welcome back to the Golf Hour with Mike Jenkins, Cowboy Joe, and the Doctor. Quake heading down, MC in the Scrappy Awards tonight. Mike, you've got next week coming up Dottie Pepper.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about, of course, Dottie won 17 times. She won 2 majors. And then she became kind of the lead analyst for NBC, one of the NBC, and then she's left, and now she's doing children's books. It's kind of interesting. They're
amazing character.
Trying to teach kids the game of golf through the eyes of a range baller. It's a pretty interesting concept.
I can't wait to hear it.
But the reason I got her was I'm reading a magazine article in January where they're interviewing her. And so, they're asking, it's a question and answer type interview. So they're asking her a question and it's answer. Well, I'm reading along and there's this question that says, tell us the name of somebody that's going to be one of the next LPGA star that we now currently don't know who it is. And she said, Brooke Pancake, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Wow.
Really?
And so I went back and read it again and I went, wow. And so I started sort of looking for her and found out that Jeff Sherrill went to school at Furman at the same time. And he introduced me to her. I've exchanged some emails with her and said, I'd love to talk about that, plus your book and so forth. And she's somebody, normally when I'm doing these things, I'm talking to PR people. But with Dottie, I've been talking directly to her. And she's excited to come. She'll be here next week. I think it'll be a fun interview.
And much like Annika Sorenstam walked away pretty close to
pretty
her
early,
prime.
yeah.
She was a great player and where I measure them, a great Solheim Cup player, and that means it's.
And by the way, she's assistant captain this year of Solheim Cup.
Yeah, and I think that's great too. And I can't wait. Dottie Pepper coming up next Thursday.
Now, when was her last year?
Well, she's been a commentator for several years, so it's probably been 10 years or so.
If you much like I think Kelly Tillman has evolved into one of the great in studio hosts of any sport. She just came on and immediately went out on that golf course as the on-course commentator and became one of the best I've ever heard. She just had it. She had that ability to communicate with the audience on what was going on the course, not up in the booth, on the course. Now, I've always liked her.
And then 2 weeks after Dottie, we have Annika back.
Yeah.
And Annika it's funny that Gary Prayer brought it up. Annika has a real concern, even a foundation to help address it about obesity among youth in America. And I heard her speak on it in February in Nashville, and she made the comment there, and I'm sitting there with you and I were talking about my grandson off the air, with 2-year-old grandson, and she said, this is the first generation ever that has a life expectancy less than their parents, and it's 5 years less, and it's because of the problem of obesity with kids.
Wow.
And that really got my attention, and so that's something that's near and dear to her. And of course now, she's with Golf Channel and has a lot of thoughts about, men's golf, women's golf. So
it's all about no exercise and bad nutrition.
She's always a fun interview. So that's our next two. And then in between there, the people are Matt from Summit Physical Therapy is going to come in, and we're going to do a whole show on physical fitness for golf and let him talk about what they're doing that's specific to golfers in the community.
Is that the one you want me out of the booth on?
No, it's one that I'm telling you, it's great for seniors. It's great for kids. I'm doing it now. It is really good because it's about golf. It doesn't hurt you. It's really good.
And you can check out their website, summit-therapy.com, and kind of get an idea of what they're all about. And when it comes to we just have a couple minutes left, but when it comes to the guests that we've had over the years with you, Mike, and on the First Tee Golf Hour, we've never had a stinker.
No, we haven't.
have never had one.
That might be number one though.
I heard y'all talking earlier. Yeah. I heard y'all talking earlier about no-shows, and we've been pretty lucky on it. I mean, you do get scared with the big names.
Oh, you do.
That there's going to be a schedule. The only one we've had was that first time we had Billy Casper. He just forgot us. I mean, he's 82 years old.
We got him back.
But he came back. But that's the only one we've had. He just totally forgot that he was supposed to be
Folks,
on.
It's been fun. Joe, we're going to be on the road again tomorrow out at
ASP Pool Services.
Right there on Cherokee Boulevard across from Quality Tire.
Right
Easy
there.
Easy to find us. We're going to have a big screen TV, food, some kind of apple pie.
Well, that's not confirmed. It was just in the talks, in the works. But they're going to have the grill out, cooking some food. So it's going to be a good time. Any pool needs that you have, we're getting that time of the year where you're going to open that pool and get it ready to go. These are the guys you need to come and see. Super nice guys, and they know what they're doing. So ASP Pool Services, come out and check us out tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Coming up next, Jed Mescon.
That's right. I care.
And Jed, am I on Jed Bescott's show? Do I need to stay, or has he got somebody else tonight?
Might as well.
I think he got somebody. Yeah.
He stole my pinto beans.
He got somebody out there. I guess he doesn't want me.
He stole my pinto beans.
He what?
He threw them away.
He stole them.
I'm not even going to tell the story of what he did.
Is that because he because you stole his bread before? Or that wasn't you, was it?
No, that was Ken Merritt.
Okay. Well, we don't throw people under
For
the
Mike
bus here.
Jenkins, for Cowboy Joe, for Quake, I'm the doctor.
All right,
Thanks for
go
listening,
Ricky
everybody.
Fowler.
Yeah, I go with that.